The Carolina Panthers are at a crossroads. The season is still young, but the pressure is already mounting. Every decision, every roster move, every mistake feels magnified. And just as the team prepares for battle against New England, a familiar face has returned to the fold. Dan Chisena is back. Last summer, he was cut loose with a calf injury that seemed like it might end his chances in Carolina before they even began. But football is cruel, and sometimes, football is forgiving. The Panthers didn't forget him. They remembered the work he put in last year, the grind, the fight to earn every snap. Now, healthy again, he's been brought back to the practice squad. It may not sound like much, but in the NFL, every opportunity is a lifeline. For Chisena, this is proof that perseverance pays off, that if you keep clawing, there's always a way back. But sentiment only carries you so far. The Panthers aren't bringing him back out of nostalgia. They're bringing him back because this team needs depth, energy, and men willing to put their bodies on the line as the fight intensifies. And the fight is coming fast. Week 4 brings the New England Patriots, a matchup that won't just test the Panthers' execution, but their resilience. At the center of it all is rookie quarterback Drake May. On paper, May looks like a rising star, top 5 in passing yards, sitting near the top in touchdown throws, and already flashing the arm talent that made him a first-round pick. But here's the catch, for all the promise, he's also one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league. 12 times in just 3 games. That number tells a story: either he's holding onto the ball too long, or his offensive line is folding under pressure. For a defense like Carolina's, that's blood in the water. If they can get to him, if they can rattle him early, May's mistakes could tilt the game in their favor. And then there's the other key variable, New England's secondary. Their young star, Christian Gonzalez, has been sidelined. His absence leaves a crack in the Patriots' armor, a vulnerability that Carolina must be ruthless enough to exploit. This isn't just another week. This is a test of whether the Panthers can turn opportunity into momentum, whether they can punish mistakes instead of suffering from their own. Chisena's return, May's weakness under pressure, Gonzalez's uncertain status, all of it collides in Week 4. And for Carolina, the question is simple: will they rise, or will they let another chance slip through their fingers? The Panthers know one thing going into this week: nothing comes easy against a Mike Vrabel defense. Fans might talk about players, schemes, or matchups, but let's be real, Vrabel himself is the weapon. The man can flat-out coach. He builds tough, disciplined defenses that make quarterbacks miserable. And right now, his unit is proving it again. They're near the top of the league in sacks, already sitting at 9 despite failing to bring down the Steelers' quarterback last week. That's the type of danger that lurks for Bryce Young and the Panthers' offensive line. One mistake in protection, one missed assignment, and Vrabel's defense will punish you. Carolina must be ready, every single snap. But there's another side to this matchup, a weakness New England can't hide. The Patriots have lost both of their home games this season. Their only win came on the road. That's not just bad luck, that's a pattern. Gillette Stadium, once a fortress, has been cracked wide open. For the Panthers, this is the perfect chance to step in and keep that streak alive. And here's the twist that will surprise a lot of people: despite the struggles, despite all the frustration fans have felt, Carolina has actually outperformed New England in the most important categories, scoring and defense. Through 3 weeks, the Panthers have put up more points than the Patriots. They've also allowed fewer. Think about that for a second. The Patriots, coached by Vrabel, with all their supposed toughness and pedigree, they've given up more points and scored less than the Panthers. That's not just a stat line. That's proof this game is winnable. Proof that the Panthers, even with their flaws, have what it takes to outlast New England. The question is simple: can they turn those small advantages into a big-time road win? Or will Vrabel's defense once again swallow a young quarterback whole? Every Panthers fan knows the feeling of waiting for this team to finally play a complete game. Defense carrying the load one week, offense sputtering the next. It's been the story far too many Sundays. But against all odds, Carolina showed flashes of what could happen when the team stops holding back. One fan put it perfectly, finally played to win the game and not give it away. That's the truth. For once, the Panthers didn't trip over themselves with turnovers, sloppy penalties, or late-game collapses. They went out there and earned it. But even in victory, the cracks are still there. The 2-minute offense, or the lack of it, has been a dagger all season. Think about it, back-to-back weeks where momentum was right there for the taking before halftime, and instead of pressing the gas, Carolina slammed the brakes. Conservative play calling. Missed chances. That's not how you bury teams in the NFL. That's how you let them back in the game. And yet, the defense continues to roar like the heartbeat of this team. They've made opposing quarterbacks uncomfortable, shut down running lanes, and kept Carolina alive when the offense stalls. But here's the thing, defense alone won't win you December football. Defense alone won't carry you into January. At some point, the offense has to match that same level of intensity. Imagine what this Panthers team could be if the defense kept dominating and the offense finally clicked. No more leaning on one side of the ball. No more hoping Bryce can survive long enough behind shaky protection. Just complementary football, offense, defense, and special teams working together to actually overwhelm an opponent. The Patriots are next, and that's exactly the kind of team you punish when you play complete football. If Carolina wants to prove they've turned a corner, this is the game. No excuses. No what-ifs. Just finish drives, stay aggressive, and let that defense close the door. The foundation is there. The passion is there. All that's missing is the offense stepping up to meet the standard the defense has already set. So I'll say it again, if the Panthers ever put all three phases together, this isn't just a scrappy team. This is a dangerous team, you know what? The criticism about Carolina's 2-minute offense is dead on. Too often it feels like the Panthers are playing not to lose instead of playing to win. Against the Patriots, that approach could come back to haunt them. A 10-point lead at halftime should have been stretched wider. But instead of stepping on the gas, Carolina tiptoed into the locker room, afraid of mistakes. That's not how champions think. That's not how teams build momentum. And then came the play that had fans shaking their heads, Mike Jackson's interception. It should have been a moment of glory, a pick six that could have blown the game wide open. The blocking was set. The sideline was open. All he had to do was cut outside and follow his convoy. But instead, hesitation crept in. He cut inside, stumbled into contact, and the opportunity slipped away. In a league where games are often decided by inches and seconds, those are the moments you simply cannot waste. But here's the thing about football, mistakes always echo louder than successes, especially when a young team is trying to find its identity. And that's where the conversation shifts to Bryce Young. Some fans have been quick to label him, quick to say he's not the answer. But history tells us patience pays. Cam Newton, the face of Carolina football for a decade, wasn't an overnight superstar either. In 2011, doubts swirled about whether he was the right guy. By 2015, he was hoisting the MVP trophy and carrying the Panthers to a Super Bowl. Growth takes time. Development takes patience. But in today's NFL, fans and media often don't want to wait. That's why every snap Bryce takes feels heavier than it should. Every incompletion is magnified. Every sack sparks debate. But what if, like Cam, year 4 is when it all clicks? What if the best version of Bryce Young is still ahead, waiting for the right pieces to fall into place? The Panthers' story isn't about perfection right now, it's about progress. The missed chances, the conservative calls, the growing pains, they're all part of a bigger picture. What matters is whether this team learns from it. Because if Carolina can turn those almost moments, the stalled 2-minute drives, the missed pick sixes, into daggers that close games, then this rebuild starts to feel real. Then the Panthers stop being a team that hangs around and start becoming a team that finishes. And that's the difference between a team that survives Sundays, and a team that wins them.